For 20 years, no fighter on Earth could touch the F-22 Raptor. Then the Air Force chose its replacement, not to outperform the Raptor, but to make it obsolete. The F-47 nearly doubles the combat radius, commands autonomous wingmen, and survives where the F-22 simply cannot. The question is not which jet is better. It is whether 590 nautical miles of range can still win a war in the Pacific. A line is drawn on the map from Guam to Taiwan. For the F-22, that line is a hard limit. Its combat radius, just under 600 nautical miles, stops short of the island. That number is not an accident. It reflects the design logic of the late Cold War. Bases close to the fight, tankers always nearby, the enemy's reach limited. But the Pacific has changed. Today, the threat zone stretches much farther. Chinese anti-ship missiles like DF-21 and DF-26 can hit targets over 1,000 miles from shore. Airfields and tankers, once safe behind the front, now sit inside the danger zone. This is where the F-47 changes the equation. Its combat radius, confirmed by the Air Force as greater than 1,000 nautical miles, redraws the map. That's a 70% leap in reach. Suddenly, a mission that once needed mid-air refueling can happen with a single tank of gas. Tankers, the soft underbelly of any air campaign, can now stay hundreds of miles farther from enemy missiles. The F-47 can launch from Guam, cross the Philippine Sea, strike targets near Taiwan or in the South China Sea, and return, all without ever needing to call for a refuel. For mission planners, this unlocks a new set of options. Routes that were once impossible open up. No more weaving around tanker tracks, no more betting the whole mission on a vulnerable flying gas station. The geography of risk shifts. Bases in Japan, Australia, even Alaska all become viable launch points for deep strike and air superiority missions across the Western Pacific. The F-22, with its 590 nautical mile radius, can only reach the edge. The F-47 pushes well past it. In a war where distance is survival, that extra 400 miles is not just a number, it is the difference between a plan that works and one that never leaves the ground. A fighter's reach is written in metal and fuel, not just in numbers on a chart. To cross the Pacific and return without a tanker, the F-47 had to grow in ways the F-22 never did. Engineers started with the airframe. The F-47's body is noticeably larger, not for show, but to hide what matters most: more fuel tucked deep inside. Every curve, every panel is shaped to swallow extra volume while still slipping past radar. The wings stretch wider, the fuselage sits deeper. Internal tanks fill the belly and spine, trading raw agility for the kind of endurance that lets a jet fly out, fight, and come home without help. But size alone isn't enough. Fuel is only as useful as the engine that burns it. Here, the F-47 leaves old rules behind. At its heart is a new breed of adaptive engine. Unlike the F-22's fixed-cycle turbines, these power plants can shift gears mid-flight. In cruise, they open a third airflow stream, running cooler and leaner, squeezing every mile from each pound of fuel. When the fight starts, the engine snaps back to high-thrust mode, pouring out power for supersonic sprints or sharp climbs. The switch happens in seconds, with the pilot never having to think about it. This variable cycle system means the F-47 can cruise for hours, then unleash bursts of speed or maneuver when needed, without burning through its reserves. The result is a jet that covers more ground, loiters longer, and does it without the telltale heat of afterburners. By blending a bigger hidden tank with engines that adapt on the fly, the F-47 turns the old trade-off, range versus performance, on its head. It is not just about going farther, it is about staying unpredictable, denying the enemy any easy calculation of when or where the jet might appear. The leap in range isn't a single breakthrough, but a quiet revolution in how fighters are built and powered for a world where distance itself is a weapon. A fighter's shape can hide it from radar, but the material it is made from determines how long it stays hidden. Boeing's low observable team spent years on what they call stealth ++ skin, a new generation of coatings and composites. Unlike earlier stealth, which focused on dodging specific radar bands, this skin shrugs off a whole spectrum. X-band, S-band, Ku-band, military radars sweep across them all searching for a glint of metal at the edge of the sky. The F-22 stealth made it a ghost to most air defenses, but there were always gaps. The F-47 closes them. Its surface bends and absorbs not just one frequency, but many at once. The radar cross-section drops below 0.01 square meters from almost any angle. At 50 nautical miles, detection probability falls from near certainty to a coin toss. At 100 nautical miles, the jet might as well be invisible. But the real leap is not just in hiding, it is in multiplying presence. The F-47 does not fly alone. It is designed to command a team, autonomous drone wingmen called Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCA. Each CCA can operate more than 700 nautical miles from base, matching the reach of the F-47 itself. They fly in formation, scatter to confuse enemy sensors, or surge ahead to jam radars and launch decoys. The pilot becomes a quarterback, calling plays across a digital battlefield. One human, 5 or more drones, all linked by secure data links. The swarm acts as an extension of the jet, scouting, striking, or sacrificing themselves if needed. Where the F-22 could only cover one slice of sky at a time, the F-47 team can watch, attack, and adapt across hundreds of miles. This is not just a new jet, it is a new way to fight. Stealth ++ keeps the team hidden. The swarm stretches the force, overwhelming defenses that once relied on spotting a lone intruder. For adversaries, it is not just about finding a needle in a haystack. Now the haystack moves, splits, and fights back. Sustainment is the silent backbone of any fighter program. For the F-47, the Air Force is betting more than $20 billion just on the engineering and manufacturing phase. That figure does not even touch the full cost of procurement or long-term upkeep. The plan calls for about 185 jets, nearly matching the entire F-22 fleet. But this time, the calculus is different. Every dollar spent is supposed to buy not just a jet, but a system that stays ready, flexible, and cheap to keep in the air. Logistics chiefs pushed for a modular sustainment model from day one. Instead of the F-22's bespoke parts and labor-intensive maintenance, the F-47 is built around swappable modules. Avionics, sensors, even propulsion components can be replaced like cartridges. Broken stealth panels get swapped, not patched. Software upgrades install overnight, not over months. The goal is to double the sortie rate of legacy stealth jets with fewer ground crews and less downtime. On paper, that means more jets in the sky, more often, with less risk of a critical fleet bottleneck. But the gamble is real. No one has ever fielded a 6th-generation fighter at this scale or complexity. That $20 billion engineering and manufacturing development contract covers just the first phase. Each new technology, adaptive engines, stealth ++ skin, drone integration, adds layers of risk. If a single modular system fails to deliver, costs can spiral. Acquisition leaders know the history. The F-22's sustainment cost helped cap its fleet at 187 airframes, far short of the original plan. The F-47's promise is that modularity will break that cycle. Success means a jet that stays lethal for decades, not just years. Yet behind the technology, there is a deeper question. The Air Force is already calling the F-47 the last manned air superiority fighter it will ever buy. Autonomy is no longer a side project. The real pivot is not just about dollars or maintenance hours. It is about whether the next leap leaves the pilot behind. The stakes are measured not just in budgets, but in the future of human flight itself. Air dominance is no longer about a single jet. It's about systems that outthink, outlast, and outmaneuver. As technology accelerates, the meaning of obsolete shifts faster than ever. The race isn't over. It just moved to a new kind of battlefield, one defined by code as much as by speed.